Hello everyone, this is Kimmy Wyatt and welcome to Kimmy in the Kitchen. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and be sure to click that notification bell so that you, that's you, will be one of the first to get notifications of new vids I post up. Okay, so today is Thanksgiving Eve and I said, well, way overdue video. I've been meaning to do this video for you guys for either Thanksgiving or Christmas cooking for I know at least 3 or 4 years, seriously, but you know, they come once a year and there you go. So I'm going to give you guys some tips today. I know it's kind of late, but for Thanksgiving, maybe not, but for Christmas. Okay, first things first, someone has stolen one of my knobs to my stove, okay? I keep them clean, and I kept them in a little thing that I used to have sitting up here, and with my burners, as you can see, one of them is missing because I don't keep them on. And yeah, I moved my stove, you know, about a month and a half later, which was like last week or whatever, and it's nowhere to be found. Okay. And I'm going to clean my stove, so there's a cleaner for that. But okay, you guys, I'm going to give you guys some tips today on what you probably want to do or should do for your cooking. And this is just straight off the dome, off the top of my dome. I hope I don't forget anything, and if I do, where the text is posted for the video, you will see before watching if there are corrections. But if there are no corrections, you won't see anything, but you will see what some things I may have missed. And I hope I don't. Preparations. Make enough food for everyone, meaning so that they can go back again, okay? And it's, for instance, if you're going to make cornbread, I was going to show you how I was preparing mine. Then, don't make it like you make cornbreads for your dressing, for Sunday dinner. Double it or even triple it, because what's going to happen is one day you're going to look in your freezer once you've frozen your Thanksgiving dressing and giblet gravy and all that, which is why I suggest you buy more than 1 or 2 cans of cranberry sauce. Wow, it is cheaper. Okay, hint, hint, clue, clue. Look at the date. It's going to last for about 1.5 years, okay? But you're going to look in your freezer and say, what is this? What is this? Maybe cleaning it out and it's been in there for 2 months and you open it up and realize, I don't have to cook. Oh my God, this is Thanksgiving dinner. This is Thanksgiving dressing, and you may have to add, your veggies to that because sometimes you don't have leftover veggies for the holidays. But most times you do have leftover dressing. So, they're a win-win situation. You can make some macaroni and cheese, some greens, hot water cornbread or whatever, and you're ready to go. Okay. So make more than enough. More, in these cases, more is better. Okay. Preparation, as you can see here, sauteing. Saute your bell peppers, onions, and celery. A little bit. I'm going to try to do this and so you guys can see. In a stick of butter. You don't have to do this for a long time, maybe for 5 minutes. And just to get it a little soft. It doesn't have to be completely translucent. You can look at the onions. But, and I'm going to turn that off because I had actually started sauteing before I started recording. The reason for that is so that when you put it in the dressing, you don't have crunchy veggies in your dressing. Crunchy celery, crunchy bell peppers, crunchy onions, which is very embarrassing if you're trying to impress someone, for instance, maybe a future mother-in-law or something like that. You don't want crunchy veggies, okay, in your dressing. So saute them for about 5 minutes. How much should I use? Like I said, more is better in this case. I use an entire stalk of celery. I use 4. I found some very huge bell peppers that I have never seen before. I'm like, wow. They were like almost triple the size of like 2.5 the size of a regular bell pepper. I'm like, okay, this is great. And by the way, those bananas, I bet you're like, okay, Kimmy, it's time to throw those away. No. Those, I've already made smoothies. Those are going in my smoothies. Thank you very much. There's another tip. Don't throw away your bananas when they get like that. Put them in your smoothies. Okay. But yeah, so 2 huge bell peppers or 4 large bell peppers. Okay, 6 medium-sized bell peppers. All right, and you're chopping all of this up. And lastly, onions. I do about 4 onions, yellow. And yeah, and so I get a big bowl which now has my ingredients for my cornbread in it, and chop up all of my celery, onions, and bell peppers. I just sit down and have myself a good old time. And by the time I'm through, you can see where the knife has been touching my little fingers. No blood, but okay. So once you do that, it's ready to go. You put it to the side or put it in a bowl. Maybe you need the skillet or whatever, and so it's cool when it's time to put into the broth for your dressing. You also want to take out, suggestion, about 2 cups of the medley so that you can use it in your giblet gravy. Okay, so that way you're not cutting up more bell peppers, onions, and celery. And so as far as your turkey, the cornbread. Okay, always, you can prepare your cornbread like 2 days before, seriously. Cornbread, in this case, is nothing special. This is not your Sunday cornbread where it's really moist and delicious. And that was going to be delicious, but this cornbread has to have a little density, I think is what what I'm trying to say. It's just a little thicker. And heavier, there you go, a heavier cornbread than Sunday dinner cornbread. The reason for that is because when you put it in, I'm going to talk about my turkey. When you put it in there with the turkey and the broth, you want to make sure that it can soak up all of the broth. And also, speaking of broth, you're going to cook your turkey and you're going to have turkey broth, right? Just like chicken broth. What you want to do, just like you took out 2 cups of the medley for your, what am I trying to say? Giblet gravy. You want to keep some of your broth for your giblet gravy as well. Okay, so once the turkey is done, take out about 4 to 5 cups, maybe 6. I love a lot of giblet gravy, so I'll just take it out and use like an 8-quart boiler. Oh, maybe it may be a 4-quart, excuse me, boiler, but yeah, to make my giblet gravy, because you don't want to run out of giblet gravy. All right, color in your giblet gravy. Get yellow cake or yellow food coloring, and you're going to color your giblet gravy if you want, or you can have white giblet gravy, but we've always had just trust me, yellow food coloring. Food coloring goes a long way, so you don't need that much. Trust me, 1 or 2 drops will do it. And then as far as your dressing, even though I use yellow cornbread for my dressing, yellow meal, I still put like maybe 8 to 10 drops of yellow food coloring so that I have yellow dressing, yellow dressing. Okay. And let's see what else I have to tell you. Okay, so prepare your cornbread before. Trust me, you want your cornbread to be cool before you put it in the broth. Okay, before you put it in the pan, you want it to be cool, because that cornbread can get really hot, and that is, if you're pressed for time, that's not something you want to do. You can make it and put it in the freezer to cool it off a little faster. But you want to break it up into using your hands. Keep your hands clean, okay? And break it in half. And you're going to use a big square cake pan to make your cornbread. If it rises to the top, good. That's okay. But you're going to, break it off in big pieces and put it off into the broth, and using your hands because it's cool. Everything is cool to the touch. You're going to just mash up your cornbread into the broth. Okay. You're making dressing. If you find the consistency is not going to turn out the way you want it to turn out when you bake it, you can, my mom has done this before, but she was so good. Oh my God, in cooking, but she rarely had to do this, but every blue moon, not that she cooked dressing all the time. She would cook it for Sundays sometimes because she knew it was my favorite food. But you can just get regular bread or wheat bread and toast the bread, maybe 8 slices until you, or whatever you desire, until you get the consistency that you want. Toast it and then put it in there and you know, mash it up off in there. Okay, no crackers, bread. All right. Let's see what else I have to tell you. And then season it. For eggs for your giblet gravy. I only use like 4 to 6 eggs. This time I'm going to use 4 because I need the other eggs for my dressing. So you can go ahead and or boil your eggs. The shell of eggs comes off quicker and easier when the eggs are cool. Anyway, so you can go ahead and boil your eggs, and you can even put them in the refrigerator, but keep them in the water if you want. That's up to you. For your giblet gravy, maybe you don't put eggs in your giblet gravy. I do, and my mom did. Okay, let's see. Okay, the turkey itself, you want to do the turkey. I think it's breast side up. Yeah, breast side up, and I thought it was breast side down, and I was, you know, I was looking at the package, and they said breast side down, and I'm like, I mean up, and I'm like, okay, that's just something different. Okay, but they're the turkey people, they know. And I'm going to tell you, this is really sentimental to me because I haven't cooked a Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner, and because of all the stocking and stuff that's been going on in my life, I have not cooked Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner in well over 4 years. Yeah. And so this is really great. I'm not going to do any fixings. I'm not going to do any veggies or anything like that. For me, I would, but it's just me, even though I've got this big thing over here, and I always do that. I overcook, but trust me, it will be eaten. I've already invited some people to come get a plate, or I'll take them a plate. But I'm just doing the dressing, giblet gravy, and cranberry sauce. Okay, and don't forget to buy extra cranberry sauce, you guys, for when you look in your freezer and see that surprise package in there, like the surprise like package, because you've frozen it. It's like frozen it. Oh, my words are not coming out right, and you're like, what is this? Oh my God! I don't have to cook the main dish. Okay, so yeah. Oh, okay. So here we go. I think I've went over almost everything. I may have forgotten something. You guys, so about 8 eggs, 8 to a dozen eggs in your dressing, especially if you're preparing your dressing in something like this. Okay, lots of eggs. But this is a big one, and this is really something I don't want to be selfish, but I have to share this with you guys. When you're doing your bell peppers, onions, and celery, okay, you cut the stalk, you take the celery, cut off the ends, both ends, you know, where the leaves are, and also where, you know, the butt of the celery. Wash it, and you cut it up in you know, the butt part. You know, wash it, and rinse it off, rather, and cut it up in, you know, chunks. It doesn't have to be small, like maybe 2 or 3 big chunks, maybe 4 or 5. Put it in a bowl. You also take the tops of your bell peppers and take the stem off, throw it in the trash, and take the tops of your bell peppers, slice it in half, put those in there with the celery butt and leaves, okay? And lastly, your onion peels. Literally wash I say wash, but rinse your onions off and take off the top layers of your onions. Even that layer that's up under that some people, I don't like it because it makes it harder to cut the onions. Until you get to the layer where you can really cut it, you know, take all of that and, you know, break these in pieces with your hands, just, you know, pulling them apart and put them in there. You're going to have this big bowl of, let me see, hold on. Okay, there we go. You're going to have this big bowl of something like this. You can see the ends of the celery. You can see the bell peppers, onions, and all that. What you're going to do with this, and I'm going to show you how much this is. It's a lot. What you're going to do with this is, once you've rinsed your turkey off, turkeys are already pretty clean, coming from, I was going to say the manufacturer, but coming from the companies. So rinse it off, take out the giblets, or whatever. I think it's liver, and take that out. Normally I make my mom used the giblets, but I don't like liver. Okay, my mom used the liver rather for the giblet gravy, and I would put it on top, but I would make sure I didn't get any liver because I'm not a liver person. So this will be the first year I'm actually going to incorporate the liver into my giblet gravy. I'm not going to eat it, but because I invited someone to get a plate, and one of the first things they said, you're gonna put the giblets in there, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So it's like, okay, it's usually me fi me, and I don't eat liver. So with that being said, but yeah, okay, it's not going to harm anything. But you're going to stuff is all of this. I don't care if some of it is hanging out. You're going to stuff this into the cavity of your turkey. You guys put it in the water, or already have the water in there. As you can see right here, I already have my water in there. Okay, but the turkey was not thawed completely, so I went ahead and just put the water in there so it could thaw. That's the water I'm going to use. That's going to be my broth. Stuff the turkey. Stuff the turkey with that, okay? All of this. Well, that for you. You guys, you're talking about flavor. Well, put salt and pepper on top or whatever and all of that, but flavor all the way through, OMG. Literally, you're going to have flavor from the bottom of your turkey to the top. Delicious flavor. You got onions, bell pepper, and celery, okay? And that's been a tradition in our home since I was a little girl. My mom always did that. She did not throw that away. She stuffed her turkey with it. And so some people say stuffed turkey, but they're talking about dressing. When I say stuffed turkey, I'm talking about literally stuffing the turkey with the remnants from the veggies. All right. Some mace, rosemary. Some people I found making something else, rosemary. They had a problem with rosemary, so be careful with that or whatever. But using rosemary, I've never been a mace person, but I have used it in my dressing. But my mom never used it. But I've done like a pinch or two or a teaspoon because of so much in my dressing. Yeah, it's all right. Try to stay traditional. Okay, and finally, let's see what else I have to tell you. So this is ready. That's going to be gone. That's going to be stuffed in there. It's going to go into the oven. It's going to be stuffed into the turkey, and it's going to go into the oven. I cook my turkey for about an hour and a half, depending on the size of the turkey, but also just keep checking on it every 30 minutes to see, what's going on with it. All right. You're going to see oil on the top because of the oil from the turkey, and it's going to be for the broth, which is really good. And so, yeah, let's see. And also, if you see that your cornbread in comparison to your broth is not enough cornbread, you don't want to use any bread or anything like that, go ahead and you've also incorporated or took into consideration the cups that you're going to use for your giblet gravy, and you're like, oh my God, I got a lot of broth. Don't fret. You can, for dinner, take some of that extra broth if you don't want to do what I said earlier, and store it. This is delicious fresh broth, not the canned kind, and you can put rice in it. Just so many different things you can do and with that broth. So don't throw it away. Say, I got too much broth, So if you have any questions, please post your comments below. I would love to answer your questions because I would just love to answer your questions. It's what I do. And like I said, my mom was, 32 cakes, 26 pies. It was nothing for her to do that. Okay. It just nothing. And I think one year we had 39 pies or something like that. And her pies, her stuff would be so picture perfect. It was just wonderful. And the whole house would smell, would reek of, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm trying to buy time because I'm trying to see if I forgot to tell you guys something. Yeah, be careful with the heat. Like I said, make sure everything's cool. You can prepare this, put it in a bowl, put it in the refrigerator, no problem. Your cornbread, I highly suggest that you prepare that. Really, your cornbread for dinner should be the first thing. For your dressing, should be the first thing you make. You want that to be as cool as possible so that when you submerge it into the broth, it's not like the broth has to cool as it is. And then you're putting hot cornbread in there and you're going to burn yourself. Your hands are going to hurt. So yeah, you can put that in, and you can make your cornbread, because it's that heavy duty, that heavy cornbread. You can make that like a week ahead of time. Seriously, like, okay, Thanksgiving's coming up 3 or 4 days early or whatever. Let me go ahead and get this cornbread out of the way. For my cornbread, by the way, I use buttermilk, and I also use a debate I had today with someone asking who puts flour in their cornbread. It's cornbread. It's only supposed to be meal. And I'm like, don't ever cook for me, okay? That would be very, very hard. Now, I have to admit, for Thanksgiving, maybe, but no, my mom always cooked cornbread. But in these cases, for the holidays, she put a little bit more, a lot more meal in the cornbread as opposed to flour. But yes, I said that would be really, really hard if you're eating someone's food and cornbread and they don't put flour in it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, and but the best dressing is when you're making cornbread. Okay, no offense to the boxes of stuffing, but the best dressing comes from not only what I told you to do with the remnants of those, but also buttermilk. Use buttermilk for your cornbread, to make your cornbread with, okay? Incorporate buttermilk for your cornbread. It's going to make the best. And just as I said that, my buttermilk, which was sitting on the back of my sink, just fell into the sink. Okay, so I got to tell you guys something. I have a video up, and someone brought this to my attention, although the comment is not showing up. It was in my notifications. And I got to tell you this before I go. So I have a video, I'm being gang stalked, spied on, etc., etc., etc. And so normally I would give you, I'm going to go ahead and give you these 8 terms to look up. Please get pen and paper, pencil and paper, or open up a note app in your phone, open up a laptop, whatever you need to do to write these down. But while you're doing that, I'll give you 10 seconds, but I'm going to be talking. Okay, because I got to give you 8 terms to look up. And I do this for basically all of my videos, 19 playlists. This is not all I do. Okay. But at the beginning, I usually tell people about these 8 terms so that you can become aware and more, more aware or more aware about gang stalking. I am a victim of it. So I did this video called gang stalking, targeted individuals, and then TI in parentheses, questionnaire. Okay. Looking at my notifications, had been up, I think it's been up for like 3 weeks now, maybe. And someone brought it to my attention that at 10 minutes and 28 seconds, a really huge orb passes down past a picture. You'll see this. Okay, look at the video. Don't fast forward it, you guys. Just make it a shock. Okay, I was like, oh my God! A huge orb, ORB, actually comes down by me. The picture's next to me, and it's fast. It's a fast orb, and they said you have spirits around you. And I've been wanting to respond back, but I cannot find their comment. I see it in notifications, but I don't see it posted where the video is. And so let me tell you guys something. I already knew that I had spirits around me because I've had 4 different people come into my apartment, and I'm talking 2 young ladies, not all that old. And one is, matter of fact, just 19. One of my hair clients, and once they sit down, they could tell. One lady also I'm interviewing, you got to check out the KimTerview on her cakes, her pastries. She has her business card. She put on there, baker. I'm like, no. You are a pastry artist. You have got to see some of her work, you guys. So I'm going to be interviewing. I already interviewed her, but I kept cutting her head off. So that's why it's not posted up. Delete it. So I'm going to re-interview her. KimTerview her. But you guys, this big orb, 10 minutes, 28 seconds. She had it, the female, I'm assuming from the name, had it right on time. There's a big orb that passes by the picture and goes past towards the camera. Not towards the camera, but past the camera. I was like, OMG. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared at all. You know, I've had I already knew this, but I had people tell me that when they come in my apartment, some people I just met that day, you know, I gave a lady some food. She was sitting outside at someone's apartment. You could put chairs outside, and I wondered if she knew them. And I'm thinking she's one of my perps. Oh, gotta give you these terms. So I mean mugged her on the way to back to my apartment. I opened my door and mean mugged her. Well, conversation with her. Had an electrical storm, and the whole apartment complex next door, their electricity was out, and so she was letting someone close to my apartment right next door charge her phone up. Well, I was like, and she said, I don't have any food. The food is spoiled. I was like, oh my God, I got a freezer full of food. Come in. I said, go get your phone. And I said, don't leave your phone. Go, you know, trust me. I had my reasons. And when she got her phone, guess what? It wasn't even charged. And she had it. She said, it's not even charged. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't even at 1%. And I'm like, hey, yeah, you don't give people your phone and leave it in their apartment for them to charge your phone. So I said, go get your phone. You can charge it here. To make a long story short, she was one of the people who, you know, who said there's some spirits in here. Okay, gotta go. You guys post your questions, comments below, but let me give you these 8 terms. Please put stalking on the end of the first 4 terms. Gang, group, cause, C-A-U-S-E, and electronic. 5th term is perps, P-E-R-P-S. If you live within these here United States, you live within a 10-mile radius of a perp, unless you're in a rural area. And trust me, 10 miles is a long way for even a rural area. You may be lucky, but okay. Just cross your fingers. Perps, P-E-R-P-S. There you go. Let's see. Targeted individuals. I am a targeted individual. Let's see. Empath. An E-M-P-A-T-H. And I'm also an empath. Please keep in mind, if you are an empath, you are 110% going to be a targeted individual. Get over yourself. It comes with the territory. Okay. However, if you are a targeted individual, doesn't necessarily mean you're an empath. Okay. Keep that in mind. The last term is organized crime. Organized crime. Yes. Don't go by what you've seen in the movies, what you know from your own knowledge. Please look up organized crime. Please look these terms up via a video format platform. And as it stands right now, I highly suggest YouTube. And please look up different videos. Don't look up just one and say, oh my God, I didn't know this was going on. You're gonna have your eyebrows raised if you had no clue this stuff was going on. Okay, so the last 4 targeted individuals: empath, organized crime, and let's see, targeted individual, empath, organized crime, and perps. Yeah. Okay. Bonus terms: flying monkeys. Okay. And super empath. Look up empath and super empath. Gotta go. Hasta la vista. Buenas Aires. Buenas noches. Arrivederci. Au revoir. Salida. Don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Ciao Bella. Ciao Bello. Smooches. Gotta go. And like I said, if you have any questions, please post those questions about, you know, Kimmy. What should I do? I may not get to it for Thanksgiving because I think it's after midnight. Today is Thanksgiving. But for Christmas is coming up. Okay. Oh, also your cornbread. Once you've mixed your cornbread up, you want to make sure that your pan, which is in my oven right now because I rinse off everything. I grew up like that. We never had roaches, but just one of those families where before we even use a fork, we rinse it off, you know. And so my pan, which I rinsed, I wanted it to be water-free. And so I put it in the oven, which you can see my oven's on, to get rid of the water and evaporate the water. I'm going to take it out, let it cool, but I'm going to put oil in the bottom of the pan. You can also put oil directly into the cornbread mixture itself. What kind of oil? I have one of my playlists is called Soup for the Soul. And within that playlist, I have a video called 5+1 oils you should cook with, 3 you shouldn't. Okay, check that out. And so I don't use vegetable oil at all. It causes acne, sterility, amongst a lot of other things. This is not just my opinion. Look this stuff up. And so, yeah, so I don't use vegetable oil. I don't use canola, rapeseed plant. Don't use that. And there's another one that I don't use, but yeah, any kind of olive oil, sunflower, safflower. I wouldn't do coconut oil because that may do something with the taste or whatever. But avocado, safflower, sunflower, grapeseed, and olive. Either of those oils would be great too. And put a substantial amount in there, you guys, because you don't want your cornbread sticking. So, probably a half a cup or whatever. This is going to be rich cornbread. And also, there's a stick of butter in there. Okay? There's going to be butter going into the dressing before I put it into the oven. Gotta go.